Yeah, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the SATS Show, your beginner-friendly guide to saving in Bitcoin. What's up? Let's go! Round of applause from the live studio audience. What's up, Leonard? Leonard in the house. Let's go. Leonard stacked them likes. Oh, man. Good day today. Good day today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Say hello as you come in. If it's your first time watching us live and I haven't given you 1,000 sats yet, say hello in the chat. I'll send you 1,000 sats today, live, during the stream. Let's go. All right. First order of business is to tell you guys what the show is about. This show is about learning the basics of Bitcoin, understanding how it works, understanding why it's important, and how we can save in it to shield our wealth from inflation. Okay, that's the plan. And on top of that, we buy Bitcoin every day, Monday through Friday, on this very show to show you how easy it is. Okay, so with that said, let's see how much Bitcoin we can buy for a single dollar during the SATS strength. Crack myself up. SATS strength. Today, Bitcoin is worth $29,140, and for a single dollar, you can buy 3,432 satoshis. What the heck is a satoshi? A satoshi is a fraction of a Bitcoin. If you can accumulate 100 million satoshis, you would have in essence accumulated one whole Bitcoin. It's still Bitcoin. It's a fraction of a Bitcoin. So for example, 100 pennies makes $1. Pennies and dollars are still considered US dollar. Satoshis and Bitcoin are still Bitcoin. Okay, so real easy, but it's a good point to highlight because you don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin all at once. You can buy fractions of a Bitcoin, right? Down to one Satoshi, right? I probably wouldn't buy one Satoshi, but you could if you wanted to. Or maybe somebody that's running a Bitcoin only show can send you 1,000 Satoshis. So that's what we're doing. We're doing that every day. So Monday through Friday, come to our show, learn about the show, hit subscribe. And as soon as you've been subscribed for about a minute, the YouTube will let you chat in the chat. So type in something, say hello, first timer, and I'll know that you're here for your 1,000 sats, and we'll get you set up, teach you all about it, and send them sats your way. What up, Captain Dan? Let's go. Stacked and still wedged from yeah, me too, Captain Dan. I can't get over how good that potato salad was. I've never had potato salad like that. It seemed to have like, it was like something sour mixed in, maybe like brats or something. I'm not brats. What's it called? Put on hot dogs. Bratwurst? No, that's anyway, can't remember what it's called. But something in there was fermented and good. Fermented and good. All right. So that said, Captain Dan already got his 1,000 sats the other day, so he's set up. Tip top, exactly. Leonard, next time, maybe next week or when Captain Dan gets back, you should come with us to lunch, dude. It's fun. We've been doing lunch past couple of weeks. Okay, here we go. So that's it. The Stack Sats segment, and talking about 1 penny. Walking down the street, see a penny, pick it up, and all the day you can have beep bop boop bop 34.32 satoshis. Right? So, sounds like a lot. It's a lot of satoshis for a penny, right? But as the price of Bitcoin goes up, you'll be able to get less and less satoshis for a single penny, and then eventually it's going to be 1 to 1, and then eventually it's going to flip, where you need 2 pennies to buy 1 satoshi. That's wild. That's wild, right? Anyway, that's that. That is the SATS strength. And the next segment is called why we stack. You guys see the little orange pill right there? The little orange pill is a way that people that are into Bitcoin relay to each other that you're orange pilling a friend, or orange pilling a family member, or orange pilling an audience, right? Orange pill means that you're supplying information about Bitcoin and hoping that that person or individual or family member or relative, whatever, decides or starts to understand Bitcoin enough that they decide that, yeah, maybe Bitcoin is for me. Maybe I can save a little bit in Bitcoin, right? That's the orange pilling. That's the orange pill process, I guess, right? So that's what people refer to when they say, oh, I got orange pilled by somebody, or I got orange pilled back in 99, right? Or like whatever year, right? That is what orange pill means, okay? Today, though, during lunch, we're talking about mining and hash rate and probability and how it's a lottery and all this other stuff with Captain Dan. And I thought it'd be something cool to cover with examples today, right? So today is going to be a little bit technical, but it's not going to be too bad, okay? But let's talk about how mining works, okay? How Bitcoin. I'm going to try to use an example that's like one instance of it, and then you have to imagine it happening billions and billions of times, okay? That's how mining works. So here we go. So let's let the music fade out a little bit, and then we'll jump into this share that I want to share with you guys. So first, in order for us to understand what's happening here, we're gonna jump into this browser, okay, and talk about SHA-256. Okay, it's a cryptographic hash. Okay, so there's so many possibilities that it's an equivalent to like 2 to the 256th power, right? And you get random 32 byte digits, right? And I'll show you guys what it looks like, but this is just the base layer, so you guys understand that Bitcoin operates on an encryption of SHA-256. Okay, and the next thing is right here. Clear this out. So this is a message, right? See how it says, let's hash this message. So what we can do is we can hash any message with the SHA-256 encryption algorithm. But when you hash it, there's no way to reverse it. Okay? So for example, let's hash this message. Boom. We get this number. Okay? Based off of this number, you cannot ever unencrypt it somehow and come back to the original message, right? But if I gave you this message and I told you to go try hashing this exact message, I'm talking exact, even if I remove a space, or if I remove this exclamation point and put a period instead, it changes the hash. Watch, check out the number, okay? It's going to change. Here we go. See, the whole number changed. And there's no way you can predict how it's going to change the hashing output. There's no way you can predict that. Exclamation point gives you a different one, right? This is the auto. And not having anything gives you a different one. See how not just one number changes, the whole thing changes, okay? And then question mark gives you a different one. See, the whole thing changes, right? Okay. It's a little bit dense, but that's the basic concept that we need to go to the next step, okay? So let's say that we are back here on the mining pool, okay? Like there it is. The mining pool is filling up with transactions that need to be processed. And then there's only a certain amount of space, of computer space, of memory space in one block. And one block happens every 10 minutes, right? But there's only a certain amount of space that you can put on that block. But there's all these transactions waiting to get processed, waiting to get confirmed, right? Look at 120,000 transactions waiting to get confirmed. And you can only do so many, right? So what happens is it doesn't take a lot of computing power to actually run these transactions, because in reality it's just a bunch of text, right? It's just like saying Captain Dan's account sends X amount of Bitcoin to Leonard's account. Leonard's account sends X amount of Bitcoin to my account, right? And it's pretty basic. It's just text, right? It's like a ledger, right? So any computer can do it, right? But how do you make it fair so that all the computers that are providing their processing power to mine, how do you make it fair for one of them to get magically selected, right? Like randomly, okay? And you want that randomly selected computer or miner to get selected in about 10 minutes, okay? Okay, so that's very important, the frequency, because you want one block of Bitcoin to get processed every 10 minutes. Okay, that's the frequency of the network. That's the speed of the network, okay? Because we're restricting it to every 10 minutes because we know that every 10 minutes we get a new, every 10 minutes we get a 6.25 Bitcoin released into the network that's already part of the 21 million, but it was unreleased, okay? So we've released pretty much, I think, 95% of Bitcoin. So the last of the unreleased Bitcoin comes out through the mining process, okay? So once you have that mining process in place and you have these transactions ready to get processed, you have to decide who out of the billions of miners gets to process that transaction. The way you do that is you set a difficulty, okay? And the difficulty can be explained this way. You say, for example, this hash rate, you can set a difficulty of, I don't know, it's got to be below a 70, right? We'll just do, for example, for us, it's got to be below a 70 at the top here, okay, 70. And so then somebody puts in, so then hold on to that idea, okay? So now we go here, and we have, oops, I'm not even showing you guys yet. Give me a second. Boom. So we have an idea here. So when the message gets hashed, you set a difficulty that you want that message to be at least, you want that message to be lower than 70, okay? And I'm sure this is a pretty high number relative to the hash rate that it could be, but let's just do 70 for the sake of this example, okay? So this message can change, exclamation point, and now it's a 4. So that's actually lower than 70, right? It's 4C. But let's just say we need a 00 message. That's a difficulty, right? Because again, it depends how many people are trying to hash. That's how many guesses will happen, right? And so the difficulty will always adjust, okay? But let's go to the next step, because I know I don't want to confuse you guys too much. The next step is here. This is what the miner would do. They would go into the memory pool. They would pull all these transactions. So transaction ID, how much, what wallet is leaving, what wallet is going into, everything that's involved in processing that transaction. It puts that all together into a block, right? This is the block. And then let's pretend that this is the same block. So we have random address to Leonard, 1 Bitcoin, Roman to Captain Dan, 1 Bitcoin, and a whole list of transactions and everything that needs to happen with those transactions would be in this block. And then I add a random character, a random number. It's called a nonce, okay? Because everybody else is trying to process the same transactions, right? So how do we know that my block or my work is different than the one that someone else is doing, some other miner, right? So we put this number, 42320, right? And then we hash it, boom. And our hash starts with a B, so that's really high. That's too high. So that's I want it in the 0 range, right? I want it to start with the 0, with the leading 0. So what I do as a miner, I try a different one. Okay, hash that. Oh, that's an 8. That's still too high. Okay, let's try a 3. Hash that. Oh, there it is, 0, 0. That's a low number, right? And so I just chose this random number to start with. Other miners would choose other random numbers, but once a miner gets a low number like this, they're considered to have found the next block. And what they'll do is they communicate to the Bitcoin network, to the rest of the nodes, and say, hey, I found the block. And here are the transactions. And here is a nonce number I used. You can go replicate that as well and confirm that my work was done. Okay. So we're going to copy this, get rid of it, and then we'll put it back in there. And then we'll hash it again, and you'll see 009 here. See? It still comes out. But if we change this, it doesn't work anymore. It gets a different number, different hash. So the proof of the work is there. The proof that it took, it proves that I took some time to get a low enough hash response, right? And so that hash response just took me 3 tries. So obviously that difficulty is way too easy, right? Where it would have to take me at least 10 minutes worth of trying to get a reasonable, to get a hash that's below the difficulty. Okay. Why that's important is because first, if the Bitcoin network gets like attacked and there's a lot less hash rate, the difficulty will adjust so that you don't need that many guesses to get an accurate guess at 10 minutes. If the network gets even harder because there's more people mining and more people guessing, then the difficulty goes up and you need an even lower number to get to be awarded the permission or the ability to mine the next block and actually write it to the blockchain, and that gets pushed out to everybody else. So the reward for doing that, the reward for getting that, is you get to actually do the work, and you get a reward of 6.25 Bitcoin until the next halving. You'll get a reward of 3.125 Bitcoin, right? But anyway, that is the basics of how mining works in the back end. Like, you don't see all this stuff. What happens in reality is we have so much hash rate, right? So hashes per second, right? So for example, that's let's see. Well, I'm just gonna add a bunch of characters here and go. Okay, so that's a hash. That's a hash. Oops, that's a hash. That's a hash. That's a hash, right? So computers can do this a lot faster, and they can iterate through numbers a lot faster than humans can. And so that's what we call hash rate, right? You can say like 1 hash per second. So it's like super. That's like my speed, right? You can say 1,000 hashes per second. That'd be 1 kilohash. Okay. You can say 100 kilohash per second. No, sorry, 1,000 kilohash per second, and that'd be a gigahash, right? You could say 1,000 gigahash per second, and that's going to be 1 terahash. Okay. There's machines out there that can mine Bitcoin at like 100 terahash, right? So that's a ton of guesses. That's how many guesses they could do per second. Okay. So the reason why that's important and how it connects to the whole Bitcoin thing is that it takes work to earn the rewards of being able to mine the next block. That's what connects the digital Bitcoin that exists only in cyberspace with the physical world, right? You think about how many people are out there trying to mine Bitcoin. Let's look at the hash rate right here. Let's see, Bitcoin network. Where is it? No. What is this? Mining. Here we go. The current hash rate that's applied to Bitcoin, to the Bitcoin network right now, is 372 exahash. Okay, so we have kilohash, megahash, gigahash, terahash, I think it's petahash, and then it's exahash, right? Each increment, it's like multiplying that times 1,000. Okay, so let's go back to this browser. You have that much resources. This is like the biggest computer network that has ever existed. It's bigger. It's like 500 times bigger than the CERN supercomputer, right? The second biggest computer in the world, right? So it's super huge, and that's how much processing power it is. That's where Bitcoin gets its value from, right? With the exception, well, that's where Bitcoin gets its kind of the core of its value, because it takes a lot of electricity to put out 372 exahash, right? But the value of Bitcoin is so high that it's worth to mine that much, right? If Bitcoin wasn't worth, then it wouldn't make sense to spend the electricity to hash it, right? Anyway, I know that's a lot. It was a weird episode today, but that is the basics of how mining works. Just so you guys can get like a little taste of it, a little feel for it, and know what it means when people say like, oh, the network hash rate keeps going up, right? Historically, it keeps going up. So if the price of Bitcoin drops, price of Bitcoin goes down, price of Bitcoin goes up, doesn't matter. As long as the hash rate continues to go up, it means that more and more people are mining it, more and more people are supporting the network. The network is getting stronger, the network is getting more healthy, right? In order to accumulate 372 exahash of processing power, and defeat the Bitcoin network, it would take a lot of resources and a lot of not just physical chips, but like energy that I don't think it'd be worth trying to attack the Bitcoin network at that point. But anyway, lots of stuff interconnected. It's hard to describe one thing without getting into the rest of it, but that's a little basic overview. Hope it made sense. Hope it was a little bit informative. And most importantly, I hope it triggered you to, or inspired you, not triggered. Trigger is like a weird sounding word. Hope it inspired you. Let's go, Captain Dan. Choo! Captain Dan just stacked $10. Let's go. Hope it inspired you to check out this book. There's a book called, or it's an audio book as well. It's called Inventing Bitcoin. It's very well done. It takes you literally through inventing Bitcoin, like why you would need it, how it works, how hashing works, how mining works, how the transactions actually go on the network. It's an awesome book. It's like very detailed, but not to the point where it's like technical, like a coding book. It's more like Captain Dan likes to say, explaining it to a 3-year-old, right? It's a very good book. So it's called Inventing Bitcoin. The audiobook is like, I think 4 hours, but if you do 1.25 speed, you get that thing knocked out pretty fast. Okay. And it's totally worth it, especially if you're going to get into Bitcoin. That's going to boost up your Bitcoin knowledge. Okay. And if you go ahead and do that, after you're done with that one, listen to the book called The Bitcoin Standard. That book is amazing. I think it's going to go down in history as one of the best books for mankind. Well, maybe not for mankind, but like, yeah. I think that book is going to be pretty significant down the road. It is now, and even more in the future. Okay. All right. So that's enough. Let's jump into the nitty gritty and do a stack recap. This is where we talk about our current position for the show. We're currently holding 0.0187245 Bitcoin. We started back in May on the 22nd, and we bought Bitcoin pretty much Monday through Friday. We started with $5. We bumped it up to $10 when we switched over to Swan Bitcoin. That's the minimum at Swan. But yeah, the current price of Bitcoin is $29,146. Our average buy price is $28,431. So today, we're only going to buy $10 worth. If the price of Bitcoin was below our average buy price, we would buy $15 worth. And if the price of Bitcoin drops below our all-time lowest buy, we would buy $25 worth. It's just something fun, you know? For you, it's up to you what frequency you decide to purchase at and what amounts. The whole point, like McLovin was saying last episode, is to get off of zero. That just means that when the poop hits the fan, you're not left with zero Bitcoin. You have at least a fraction of a Bitcoin, because who knows how big of a jump it's gonna have. Okay, so let's do some buying. Yeah, let's do some buying. Here, where's that? Time to stack some SATS. There we go. Hit that exclamation point Swan in the chat. It's going to bring you to my affiliate link. You're going to get $10 of free Bitcoin if you sign up with my link. The link is in the chat. Exclamation point Swan. All right, that said, let's get into this purchase. I'm gonna hit buy. Do for $10. Preview buy. Oh, let me change this. Preview buy. Take my screenshot. Slide it down a little bit. Get back to browser. Get my show notes over here. Today is episode 44. Wow. Episode 44. Let's go. All right, we're gonna stack $10 worth. Cut the music. Drum roll, please. I should have hit the buy before I hit the drum roll. Come on, come on. If it's your first time here and you're enjoying the show, say hello in the chat. And if I haven't given you 1,000 sats yet, today is the day. A little slow today, huh? Drummer got tired. Drummer got tired. Let's go! Chillaxing music. Because we just stacked. Oh, yeah. Now, let's jump into our spreadsheet, updated with the new information. Today is August 3rd. August 3rd, we bought $10 worth of Bitcoin at 29,217. We bought $10 worth of Bitcoin. It cost us 10 cents to do so. So our cost is 10.10. That yielded 0.00034,227 Bitcoin. If we take the decimal and move it 8 places to the right, we get the Satoshi value. Just like if you took 100 pennies, sorry, 100 cents, sorry, just like if you took $1 and you move the decimal place over to the right twice, you get 100 cents. Same thing here. 34,227 Satoshis were purchased just now by the Stack SATS show for the stack. And the stack is now at 1.9 million Satoshis. Choo! Next thing you know, we'll be at in the 2 million Satoshi range. We'll be at 0.02 and well on our way to being off of zero. Dang. Dang. Remember, these are the numbers that matter. It's the same number really, but like this is the number that matters. The Satoshi count, it's got to keep going up. It means you're investing regularly, right? These numbers are always gonna fluctuate, right? Like, oh, not this one, but like the costs of you buying it versus the cost versus what it's worth, right? And we just put this in here to spice things up, to make the spreadsheet look cool, right? But really, when you buy Bitcoin, it's a long-term thing. You know, don't think of it as a way to make more debased currency. Don't think of Bitcoin as a way to buy something and then wait for the price to go up and then sell it back into the same money that's going to steal from you. Buy Bitcoin for the long term, right? Down the road, there's going to be a time. When, even now, I think there's some companies that do that, where you can take loans against your Bitcoin, right? So you'll never have to get rid of your Bitcoin. So picture this. Bitcoin is a reflection of the dollar as it loses value, right? Same way that your real estate, that your home goes up in value, goes up in price. It's not that your house is worth more. It's not that your Bitcoin is better Bitcoin in 5 years or in a month. It's the same Bitcoin. It's the same house, right? But when you measure other things against Bitcoin or against another hard asset, it reflects the real value of the dollar. Okay, so when the price of homes goes up and you're happy about it, you should be sad about that. It's because it's telling you that your money is losing value. Okay, you need more of the dollars that you thought had value to buy the same things. Actually, to buy older things, right? Because a house doesn't get better, right? A house doesn't all of a sudden not need repairs, right? A house ages and it needs things done to it, right? And somehow it's worth more 10 years later than it was 10 years before. What happened, right? If you really think about it, it's just a place for someone to live in. Well, what's happened is the money is so weak and continues to weaken. People understand that somehow intrinsically, and they shift out of that cash system and invest in things like real estate or stocks or bonds, because they think it's gonna make them money, but in reality they're just trying to stay afloat, right? They're just trying to keep some of that wealth they've been working for their whole life, right? So anyway, that was a random tangent, but yeah, what's important here is that you stack sats and hang on to them, hodl, hang on for dear life, and then pass them on to whoever you want to pass them on to when you're done with them, right? I'm trying to get up to have enough. Oh, I guess not have enough, but I'm trying to get set up. Like the Bitcoin that I'm saving is for my kids, right? Like I don't ever plan on selling it. I do intend to use it down the road in the form of equity, in the form of like a line of credit, right? For things that I want to buy anyway. For example, let's say I wanted to get a boat or something, right? Well, I have enough. If I had enough Bitcoin to buy a boat, my option one is sell that Bitcoin, get the boat, right? Okay, well that's not kind of, I want a boat, but I don't want to lose my Bitcoin, right? Option two is you can get a loan against your Bitcoin, buy the boat, pay back the loan for the boat, and then you still have your Bitcoin, right? So let's say it takes you 10 years or 5 years to pay your boat. The price of Bitcoin should go up. That's if it's 10 years, that's like almost that's two whole cycles of Bitcoin, right? So the price of your Bitcoin will continue to appreciate, and the debt that you're paying on that boat, you're actually paying it with weaker dollars down the road. So it's actually getting cheaper for you to pay that debt, right? It's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. Once you get enough Bitcoin accumulated, you can use it as a form of like how people nowadays use real estate, right? Take loans against it, and as long as you don't default on it, you'll be fine. You still continue to have that Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin you're holding, the longer term you hold it, it's going to be worth more, right? Because nothing has changed throughout this whole scenario. The government will continue to print money, and it doesn't matter whose emails got lost, whose laptop got found, who's in office or who's not in office, who's in jail or who's not in jail, who's indicted or not indicted. All that is just a distraction, right? What matters is that your wealth, that value, will be outside the system and continuing to, appreciate it. Continuing to appreciate if you look at it from the perspective of the dollar, right? Anyway, that said, what up, Carl? Let's go. That said, we're up to 1.9 million sats, Carl. Next, what is it? Tomorrow's Friday already? Dang. All right, let's talk about this real quick. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm taking the night off because it's my wife's birthday. So super stoked. And but I'm still gonna stack. I'm still gonna stack tomorrow, and then I'll update you guys on Monday with a stack. So midweek next week we'll probably hit the 2 million Satoshis mark. Okay, the 2 million sats mark. It will be at 0.02. 0.02, just like that. Okay, and yeah, see how it goes. This will be fun. Okay, so that said, that's all I got for you guys. That was a fun episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope it didn't get too technical with the hashing and how that works. But that's just the basics of how it works. You should, if you get a chance, check out what's it called again? Inventing Bitcoin. There's a link for it in our Discord server. Our Discord server is SATS Show Discord. I want to put that in the chat real quick. Discord. So if you're watching the replay, go in the chat, find that link, and come join our Discord server. It's Bitcoin only. No other kind of coins. Don't be in there trying to sell NFTs or any of that junk. Get yourself wrecked. Jump in there and do that kind of stuff and you'll get deleted. Deleted immediately. But I do have a whole, I call it Bitcoin Basics section, where it has books I recommend along with links, as videos that I think are great for first time or people just starting to understand Bitcoin. Those videos, they're pretty long, but they go over the basics pretty well. We have some articles that you can check out. We have let's see, our Swan Bitcoin affiliate links in there, an explanation of why we're doing it that way. We have a little section on hardware wallets that we recommend, and what else? The books we recommend, and audiobooks, also the videos, yeah, the articles. Anyway, it's in there in the Discord. Go in there, check it out, say hello to the gang, and if you have any questions, that's probably the best place to ask them. And we have a general section. You can go in there and ask your questions. Let's see, content feed. Yeah, that's right. And then we have inspirational memes. Inspirational memes like this. Where did I put my inspirational memes? Like this. Oh, didn't put that. Like this. And like this. All right, guys. Have a good night. Are you kidding me? That's crazy, right? Yeah, it's wild. All right, Leonard, Captain Dan, Mr. Carl, let's go. You guys have a good night. I'll see you guys oh no, I won't see you guys tomorrow. I'll see you guys Monday. You guys have a great weekend. If you go fishing, may the bite be with you. Remember, smoking is bad for your health, and the dollar is bad for your wealth.